Welcome into Casey Sports Tonight. Won't go down as our smoothest introduction. I'm Katie Marr. That's Gabe Swartz. We have baseball to talk about today. Little scary sight for Royals fans with Cole Ragans, their ace, exiting in the first inning today after taking a line drive to his pitching hand, his left hand. But after the game, he then stayed in the game and then gave up 2 runs, and from there, the Royals ultimately fall today 10-2 with a grand slam in the 8th inning to kind of top it off. After the game, Matt Quatraro tells us it was a contusion and they are not worried long term and they expect him to be good. What are your thoughts, Gabe?
It's just unfortunate. His first 2 batters of the game, he looked pretty solid getting strikeouts, and then to have the line drive off the hand is just unfortunate. I know that a lot of Royals fans are not always the most thrilled with the availability of Cole Ragans and the pitch count and all the different types of things, and people want to have the debate over whether he qualifies as being an ace or not. But the fact of the matter is, this is a ball being drilled off of your pitching thumb is
not your fault.
Not your fault compared to, other injuries are varying degrees of just unlucky nature. So it is not great. I think even when we have the conversation about Ragans as the ace or whatever, I think at this point you can say that Michael Wacha has been the Royals' best pitcher through 2 turns through the rotation, and they're 5-7 as a team, and 3 of the losses are days that Cole Ragans has started for them, so they've yet to win a Cole Ragans start.
Yeah.
That, to me, is both a bad sign in the sense that it's unfortunate the way that he has pitched so far this year, and then it's unfortunate he had a bad start in Atlanta. He had a good start last week and didn't get any run support, and then he has an unlucky situation here in Cleveland, and now you're at a point where the Royals also just have not been able to win a rubber match between them and the Guardians. It's, I think, 10 straight series in Cleveland where they've had a chance to win a game to win the series, and they've lost them all. So I don't know what the deal is with Cleveland, but they're one of the cheapest teams in baseball, but they seem to always have a frisky team that gives the Royals trouble.
Frisky.
So unfortunate stuff for the Royals, and I think of all the things, the Ragans, it appears that he avoided serious problems, which is good, but there are other concerning things about the Royals so far this year.
Yes, agree. Q said, there was no swelling, so it's nothing's broken. So they're not worried long term, but obviously he was not pitching well after that, so they took him out. And yeah, it's unfortunate because when we see him on, like he was today before that happened, 2 straight strikeouts and the 2 batters faced, and then can't control getting hit by a 92-mile-per-hour line drive. I went to the game last Thursday at the K. I was off as a fan, where Cole Ragans was pitching, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, when he's on, he's so good, and he's so fun to watch. And then the Royals actually had that game until way after Ragans got taken out. So that, it's unfortunate they lost that game, but I won't credit that to Cole Ragans, of course. That was 3 or 4 straight home runs in 1 inning to end it for them.
Steven Cruz, who also gave up the
Grand Slam today. Not great. It felt like the Grand Slam today was kind of just like the cherry on top. The Royals were kind of still in it. It was only 2-run game for a while, and then it was a 4-run game. And that Grand Slam just killed them. But yeah, it's frustrating how good the Royals seem to be at avoiding sweeps, but they get in so many of these rubber match situations, and so far when you're not coming out on top of those, it's discouraging for fans. And I think there was a lot riding on this game today as kind of an early season indicator of are the Royals going to be able to compete in the AL Central? because they have, I think, 4 straight series right now that they're in the middle of against AL Central opponents. They're back at home tomorrow night to host the White Sox for a 4-game series. We might be hearing some fun things about. The fans are saying uniform could be coming out soon. Possible City Connect there. But yeah, I mean, it's early in the season. I'm not gonna say the season's over and the Royals aren't making the playoffs and they can't win series, but they need to start winning series soon, especially in the AL Central.
I think that the annoying thing for Royals fans has to be the fact that they have gotten past the problems of 4 or 5 years ago where they were just downright bad.
Yeah.
And now the issue is more so that there is very obviously things that are keeping them from hitting their ceiling, where they have raised their floor to the point where you expect them to win or compete every single day. The floor is so high because the starting pitching is generally really, really good.
Yeah.
And the offense is letting them down at this point still. And specifically, I think that a lot of the focus and attention from the fan base, at least on my sample size of Twitter and Royals fans, is there's a lot of focus and attention on the decisions that Matt Quatrero makes with the left field, right field spots, the platooning of Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins and Starling Marte and all these kinds of guys. And I think that in general, those guys have been up and down. Like Starling Marte has started 3 or 4 games this year, and he's been fine. Isaac Collins has had good
RBI
moments.
today.
Kyle Isbell has been really good. Ultimately, those guys have not been the problem at this point. You have Vinny, who's hitting in the 100s in batting average. Salvi's in the same area. Neither of them has delivered with runners in scoring position. Until today, Bobby Witt Jr. had not had an extra base hit, and that's not. I have seen the metrics. I know that Bobby has had a ton of 100+ mile per hour balls that have been outs, and that is super unlucky. His batting average on hard hit balls is well below the expected batting average, and that's getting way into the numbers.
Yeah.
So he's gotten unlucky, but 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup, when it has been Salvi and Vinny and Lane Thomas when he's been in the lineup, that's really the frustrating part for the Royals, is that the sluggers that have had cold starts in the past, Vinny in particular, has just not really ever been good in April.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that's happening again this season, and it coincides with Bobby not having power, because he's still been productive. He's leading the league in stolen bases, and he's getting singles and walks at a decent clip. That's the annoying part. So you're at 5-7. You're coming home for this series against the White Sox, and you're annoyed as a fan because you see. I think that 5-7 is like as bad as it has been, but at some point, it becomes the responsibility of the coaching staff for us to stop saying, this team is in position to have a lot of success, and they keep having like the worst possible result of them hitting they're hitting their floor. Their floor has just been elevated compared to the 2020 or 2021 version of the Royals, which was not a good product.
Yeah. It also hurts when they don't have a closer right now.
And that's the other thing, is that you can say, yes, this is not all on Matt Quatrero, because the middle of the lineup is not producing. The guys who have to produce are not producing. But they've also not had a good pulse on what to do with the bullpen in a lot of situations. And you came into the year knowing that Carlos Estevez was not at 100%. Maximum velocity, and basically gave away a game against the Braves one night. And that's basically really frustrating.
Yeah, and they get walked off yesterday in the 9th when it was 1-1 in the top of the 9th, and it's frustrating for sure.
But nobody in the AL Central really has played well other than Cleveland.
Yeah, that's for sure. As for the Royals, I saw a stat today that I feel like we have to talk about because Carter Jensen, since oversleeping and getting there late. We don't know. I mean, he was probably still there
He
several
was still
hours
there
before the
game, they said.
He wasn't late to the game. He was just late for call time. He's had some crazy stat lines. He's 455 average, 538 OPB, slugging over 1, and then 1.629 ops. Like,
he's been good.
I feel like we went a little dramatic with the alarm clock thing, making it as big of a deal as it became.
I think it was a properly sized story for Major League Baseball for the first 2 weeks of the season.
I guess that's also true. If this happened in August, we probably wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, and I think that it was a story because he's a AL Rookie of the Year favorite or top 2 or 3 contender coming into the year, so he has people's focus, and maybe in Kansas City people are thinking like, oh, why are people ganging up on this kid from Kansas City who
this Park Hill kid
hitting 5th or 6th in the Royals lineup every day? Like, it's the rare time where people are like, wait, we don't need the attention in this sense.
Leave Carter Jensen alone.
Yeah, so
we love him.
I think that Major League Baseball, it made sense. The fact that like TMZ was making headlines about it and stuff was wild. But he's responded to the call. He's gotten a lot better, and I think that
he had a homer before it happened too.
He had a homer before it happened. He had 2 homers in Cleveland this week, including one when it was 33 degrees out there.
Yeah.
Him and Jack Caglione have made strides. They both look better than last season, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
But I just keep going back to like Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi have to get going. Michael Garcia has been solid so far.
Yeah, Michael Garcia has been great. He's more of a line drive guy anyways, but he had his first homer the other day here at the K on Sunday, so that was a good flash, of course. But yeah, leave Carter Jensen alone. There's this thing called the iPhone glitch.
Maybe it lit a little fire under him.
Yeah.
So maybe he responds to criticism well.
I'm still like, I've been a victim to the iPhone glitch where it just doesn't go off like several times. So like we can't be too hard on the kid, you know? Leave Carter Jensen alone. But yeah, Masters. It's Masters week. I wore green yesterday because it's the best. It's one of the best weeks of the year. How can you not love the Masters? I was telling Marlia and Mark yesterday in the sports office how like I want to just like win tickets one day so that I can just like have an excuse to throw my phone out for like a day and like just bring a disposable camera, eat a pimento cheese sandwich, all that stuff. Are you a big Masters guy, Gabe?
Yes. I mean, I'm a big golf person in general.
Yeah.
So
not quite as big as Neil Jones, former OU golfer.
Well,
former OU golfer.
Yeah, Neil will tell you he's not good at golf. That just depends on what your definition of good at golf is.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it. I might have a hot take here, but Masters Par 3 Day does nothing for me.
It's just cute. Like when they get to bring their kids out, it's cute.
I don't need it. I
But
honestly,
when they put on the little caddy uniforms and the 2-year-olds are out there.
Maybe I'm heartless in that sense. I don't want to get burnt out on Masters Par 3. And we really like the Kelsey family in this town.
Yeah.
But we're fast approaching a little bit of overexposure to the Kelseys. When we're putting Jason Kelsey on Masters broadcast and mashing up food for him to eat.
I don't think that's giving me Masters, and I felt very similar. And again, we love the Kelseys. I adore Jason Kelsey and his awesome wife and their adorable children. But when I looked at my TV today before I left for work, and I had ESPN's coverage on, and I saw Jason Kelsey like walking around doing those random things, I was like, it's just not giving the Masters.
Who is this for?
Who is this for? I don't think this is for. I don't think it's when people are seeking the Masters, like they're thinking like this dignified, like calm, beautiful, like Augusta National, like all that stuff, like fancy stuff. That's not the type of content I'm looking for when I just want to like turn on the Masters and like watch the coverage throughout the day, especially in the practice rounds. I don't know. I didn't think that was necessary either.
Yeah, we also had Kevin Hart caddying for Bryson DeChambeau today. Again, I said that I tried to avoid
and that's just not
par 3
it.
content, and I didn't. I don't need that either.
Yeah, I just want to see the golfers with their
real,
families.
I'm ready for the real golf tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, and of course we have local guy Gary Woodland, 2019 U.S. Open champ, Topeka native, KU golf alum. They love him over there in Lawrence. He was asked about Bill Self today by Scott Van Pelt, which I thought was fun. He said, of course, that he's glad he's coming back and that they need a team now, which, yes, they do, and we'll get to that next.
Needs a team.
Everybody needs a team because everybody's in the transfer portal. But, yeah, so if you're looking for someone local to root for in the Masters this week, root for Gary Woodland, who just had an awesome win in the Houston Open. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, qualifying him for the Masters, coming back after a brain tumor, and he's dealing with PTSD the entire time he's out there. So, really awesome story. Gabe wrote up something great on our website yesterday, so you can go check that out if you want to learn more. But, like we said, transfer portal madness. The craziness continues. Gabe, who is on KU's roster at this point? Or Mizzou, or K-State?
There are 4 high school signees. There's Cole Rosario.
Hey, Cole showed great flashes
walk-ons
towards the end of the season.
But they have a lot of open spots. And I saw Evan Miyakawa, who does really, really good college basketball coverage independently. He has like a transfer portal ranking, whatever. Basically, it's like a reevaluation tool for guys who go into the transfer portal to contextualize how good they are or not. And I think he said last year there were 30-something guys who were 5-star transfers, basically the best category of transfers. And already this year there's 49 of them. So we just continue to have really, really good players enter the transfer portal, mostly because we have normalized these guys just not ever staying anywhere and building any legacy. I'm at the point where it is somewhat annoying. I think that it's bad habit. I think it's bad for the adults to encourage this. And I think that one of the things that frustrates me most in sports media at the moment is the people, one of which may have gone to Duke and has a large role on the ESPN coverage of college basketball at this point.
I wonder who you could mean.
Touts being a lawyer that wants to grandstand and say that everything in college basketball is acceptable for these players to just go wherever, whenever, and whatever, despite the fact that his entire brand and his entire existence as a college basketball analyst is tied to the fact that he was tied to 4 years of college basketball at Duke. So you can go ahead and figure out for yourself who that individual is.
What lost me on, I saw the same exact 4-minute rant the other day. What lost me on that was when someone said these are kids, and they all said, no, it's called men's basketball. I'm 25 years old. I can look back on my 4 years in college and tell you I was a kid for all of them.
Well, and I can, that's fine. But at the same time, it's a little bit of, yes, these guys are all old enough to understand for themselves what they're doing. They're also a product of a system that is now encouraging it.
Yeah.
And just because it's what is allowed to happen does not mean that it is what should always happen.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think is frustrating. I don't think that the argument that Jay Billis has made, for those who did not pick up on who I was alluding to, the argument that he has made is that what the NCAA did for a long time was wrong, and as such we should go in the complete opposite direction and allow everything to go against them now. And I don't think that makes any sense. And I think that we're going to look back because eventually, somehow, some way, whether it is this federal legislation that the presidential order that Trump signed, whether the conferences and the NCAA eventually figure out a way to limit the amount of transfers that guys get, or limit the let's just sue for extra years of eligibility that's happening now. We're going to look back on this time period from like 2023 to who knows what the end date is, and say, remember all that time where there was just like every single player in college basketball played like at 4 different schools in 4 different years, and none of them had a legacy attached to anything unless they won the national title, in which case then their fans are like, you know what, I really enjoyed that year from Yaxel Lendeborg at Michigan. We're going to look back on that and say that was really stupid.
Yeah. And it's, I think something that has so much to do with it is the fact that it's hard for fan bases to latch onto these kids and want to root for them. And it feels like a lot of the times they just don't care about the name that they're wearing across their chest, almost because they're almost just expecting to leave in a year and go seek a higher bidder or more playing time or whatever. And if it's about playing time, like, I can get that. Like, but it, like, in Melvin Council Jr.'s case, he breathed Kansas. Like, he was one of those transfers that I feel like fans were excited to watch because he was very loud and proud about, like, he loved playing for Kansas. And that was refreshing. And it's like when we watched the Sunflower Showdown, these teams didn't hate each other, and you want them to hate each other. And like the border war when they played at T-Mobile, like you don't feel, no one's hurling stools at each other, you know?
Well, and the just K-State allowing him to wabash on their court, like that doesn't happen if guys had been at that school for 4 years.
He does that 5 years ago. He's getting a stool thrown at him. Like, but that's just one example. And then, I mean, in the case of we were talking about Flory Badunga and Bryson Tiller and the schools that they're looking at. Flory has a reported list of top 4 right now are Duke, Michigan, St. John's, and Louisville. And then you were saying Bryson Tiller's
was Arizona, Michigan, Miami, and Mizzou.
Yeah, and there's no. I am all for like these kids getting paid because the NCAA has been for years profiting off of them, and they have like I knew athletes when I was in school who couldn't have jobs and like just a regular job and make money for themselves, and they were blanking on the player's name who like kind of went viral during March Madness a few years ago, and that's what kind of sparked a lot of the, oh my God, wait, these kids like literally can't make any money. That's wrong. Like they should be getting compensated for the value that they're bringing. But when it's an unequal bidding war everywhere, and these kids are being told by these adults, well, if you just like put your name in the portal, then we can like see what's out there and blah 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 blah. It's just, there just need to be rules in place, because what's happening right now, no one's getting an education, no one's getting development. And if you don't care about education, that's fine. But no one's getting development to become a better player under one coach like Bill Self. Like,
it's a much longer conversation than this forum allows for, but it is it makes for a really good entertainment product. The college basketball offseason is at the point where, based on the way that NBA rules allow for player movement, people used to say NBA free agency was crazy. College basketball free agency is 100 times crazier because
there's
every
more.
single person is a free agent every single year, and not only are they free agents, they're free agents to the point where, like Rob Wright, for example, who went from Baylor to BYU last year, apparently went from Baylor to BYU after agreeing to a deal with Baylor, and 3 weeks ago he was in the BYU locker room at the Big 12 tournament and said, if I'm playing college basketball next year, I'll be at BYU. And then I wake up and I look at my phone this morning and Rob Wright's in the transfer portal. So it's entertaining, but it's still a pretty stupid process, if we're being honest.
It is. And then, you know, there are kids that when we interview kids in high school after they commit to, you know, a Power 4 school, and they say, this is somewhere I know I can see myself for 4 years, and then they're in the transfer portal literally 1 year later. It's hard, and it's a system that it was unleashed without the proper vetting, and now it needs to have that vetting before things get even worse, if that's possible. Okay, we have 2.5 minutes. The KC Current are taking a little break from NWSL play for just 2 games. They're hosting the Teal Rising Cup this week, and they are hosting 3 international teams, Palmeiras, Corinthians SC, and Club America, all from South America. Teal Rising Cup championship last year, the KC Current won it against Corinthians SC 2-1, and that is who they will be playing in the first round tomorrow night at CPKC Stadium. It's the second straight year they're hosting this tournament, I guess we can call it. They want to defend that title, but Chris Armas talked a lot today in their media availability that, these teams have a very different play style than what they're used to in NWSL play. So this is also a chance we're going to see a lot of young faces that we don't know as much. This is the time last year when the current owner's daughter, Mary Long, who plays on the team, scored her first goal. So, yeah, it'll be exciting time. 2 games,
it's
4
a
games.
unique event. It's a creative event for them to do, and the youth aspect of all of it is really cool as well. But just a different mix-up. Maybe it's something that they need. They haven't really started off super great in the NWSL play so far this year, so maybe they just need a different a change of style for a week away from the NWSL competition so far.
And that's what Armas was also talking about today. They had that 3-game losing streak on the road, and they get this huge win over the reigning champs, Gotham FC, this past Saturday. On their home turf, so they're kind of hoping that can propel them into this, and here they can figure some things out and go forward. So KC Current, they play tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The first game between Club America and Palmeiras is at 5, and then no matter what, the Current will play on Sunday. It'll just be either at 3 or 6 o'clock. The third place match is at 3. Championship match is at 6. So go to CPKC Stadium this week. And then next Friday, they're going to have rugby there. So exciting times at CPKC. Thanks for joining us here on KC Sports Tonight. We're here every weekday at 5:30 and on the weekends at 10:30 over our air.